We've entered a bizarre land. This is so crazy. I got a whole story here about this gentleman, Derek. 3.5 years ago, I got to know Derek very well because I was going through a lot of things and looking for Christianity, looking for answers. And Derek was one of the primary individuals that I did know him. Didn't know him personally, talked to him a couple of times through comment fields. Used to watch his videos and stuff like that. And there was even a crazy incident where he had gone to New Mexico. When I was in Colorado, I wanted to go down myself, where people flew around the world because they were trying to bring some peace and love to this world. And about 1,000 people show up on this lady she was a Native American lady that, through ancestry owned a bunch of property on reservation land in New Mexico. And they were going to gather to work together about truce and bring peace and love. So they show up, all of them, people flying around the world. They could never get access to the land where she was on. Some did actually. Some of the people I think actually did get access to there because they blocked all the roadways. The government, the military. Not kidding you. They were with guns and everything out there and blocked the roads, these dirt and gravel roads everywhere. And said that they were a cult and meeting against their dangerous cult, right? And they none of them even carried a gun. Some individuals went and talked to him when he was driving down the road, some military, and he was stopped, and they said, "You're not allowed to enter that reservation land," to this lady that was holding that her property is going to be used for these 1,000 people around the world. And he said, I don't carry any guns. Why are you stopping me? And he said, well, you're part of this cult thingy, so leave. And he said, we do know that all you have guns and weapons and are probably going to use them against the people in this country. And he said, we will not tolerate that. So everybody, 1,000 people, I think they said there's 1,000 to 1,200. That was the number, not kidding you. People flown from Australia, from Britain, from all the world. This guy has even talked to David Icke through interviews. The reason I bring that up is because David Icke is very well known in Britain. But he talked to a lot of people. A lot of people knew him. A lot of truthers. Like David Icke, whether you love him or hate him, he's a Mandela Effect awake. He tells some truths, right? He's been banned from YouTube, David Icke. He's not allowed to come back. He had 1 million viewers. They banned him permanently. And so I haven't heard anything David Icke speak anything forward. He did a couple of times since then, but they shut him down. He can't tell the truth talk. So I'm having some of this. This man right here, Derek, things just kind of went quiet and south after that. He wasn't harmed, as far as I know, because he was so disappointed in some of those videos. He did some live ones from there and said we're being kicked out. And what's sad about that, during that time, it was right before Christmas, the same time, about 4 years ago, that they had gotten a bunch of presents, bicycles, brand new stuff that everybody had chipped in, and they went out and bought a bunch of gifts for the Native American children that were near this reservation, right? I think it was the Utes, maybe. I'm not sure which reservation it was. Maybe the Utes, but I'm not sure. And so they were going to give them out. So they were able to drop those off before they were kicked out. Last minute thing. Before he was there, I think, for 3 days max before. Maybe it was 5, I can't remember. Before they were all kicked out by the military. They were waiting. And so he showed a picture of all this like brand new bikes and said he's so disappointed. He said, look, we bought all these gifts and stuff for the Native American children. And at first they weren't going to let him have access to give them to her, the lady that owned the land, to transfer those gifts to the children. And somehow he was able to do that, if I remember the story correctly, that they allowed him to drop off those gifts. So the Native American children did have gifts for Christmas, right? I mean, this time I could not believe the story. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Our own government is go out in the middle of frickin' nowhere. There's nothing but prayer land. Making accusations that they're a cult and carrying guns and bombs and going to blow up everybody in the United States of America when, they put very little effort in terrorists, to keep them under wraps. But here they out bothering these peaceful people, and he's religious. He believes in the Lord and stuff that he did all these things about the Christ consciousness and all these great things, talking about the Lord constantly, right? I mean, this guy was a Christian. And if you want to put a title to a religion. There's some of this. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of just disappears. No more word, right? Tonight, somehow, maybe the Lord or somebody pushed it to help me communicate, or the high command above and the angels or something, because he pops up out of nowhere on my phone. And that'll happen. You'll see things like that. They're trying to communicate you through your phone. The good side. Team Dad from above. So I was like, well, I'm going to catch up what he's been doing. What's happening? Oh, I'll tell you more about this man in a second. Boy, the videos. There's 1-year-old one here. It was the last one he did. This guy was so dedicated. There is no way he would have silenced him unless something supernatural occurred. There is just no way. And he has this one here that I talked about. One of the people in the United States originally posted on 1/9/18. That's all it says. This video was uploaded January 2018. That's kind of when I started to get to know this guy. One before that's 3 years old.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just have a quick video I wanted to bring to you as I was contemplating something last night, and it struck me. I was listening to a video with Russell Brand and Jordan Peterson.
Well, we don't have time to do all these videos. They're all 3 years old if you can see them. So, it's kind of like we're being taken out, like the Hunger Games. Call it the God Games. Not God himself, but like Hunger Games, where something just happens to us and we just disappear and we never get to continue being united together. It's crazy. I've had this personal experience. Start working on somebody, get really close to them, and all of a sudden something happens. I had a sister that I was really close to, for example. She gave me a phone number, we kept in contact. She was in El Paso, Texas. And, boy, you wouldn't believe having her. After I met her, she had a job as security guard for 5 years. Same place. We started talking about Mandela effect. She was completely awake about that. She called me the next day after. No, I knew her about a week, actually. About a week. And then, she, called me on Friday one day and said, hey, I've been fired. So what happened? Some guy came and attacked me and had to defend myself, and I held him down. Security guard, and she was a security guard that drives around the vehicle and was near all the truck stops and gas stations in El Paso on the edge of town. And she was a real nice lady. She let you stay there if like me. She said, park over there, and I know where you're at. I'll keep an eye on you, Kirk, and nobody's going to bother you. And, she didn't bother people who were homeless or traveling through and stuff. She, as long as you weren't causing problems, she was really cool. And she lived by herself. And so anyway, we got to know her and talk about Mandela effect and how we're going to help change some things around this world and work together. And boy, weird. Friday she calls me and says, hey, Kirk, she goes, been fired because some guy attacked me and I held him down. She explained to you, she goes, I defend myself. She goes, I was actually injured. She goes, I can't do my job now if I take another job. And they said they're blaming me for it, and I just protected myself, defended myself. So I said, geez, really? Oh, I said, hold on. She goes, yeah, I gotta get this figured out. She goes, I'm going to the doctor back and forth, and I'll be going there for a week or two to try to heal. And so I called her. I talked to her like another Sunday after I said, how you doing? She goes, well, it's really bad because I'm tight on funds and my phone is not really that good. And as far as minutes, she's on a minute program or something like that. I can't remember the details. So she goes, I can't talk long. And she said, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to survive making the payments for my house and how I'm going to afford using this phone. A week later, phone, I'm going to call her. Never answers. Left a voicemail. Make sure you're okay, you're all right. Never responds. A month later, because concerned about her, call her just out of the blue. You had her voicemail. It's her, but never answered the phone. I said, please just call me. It's Kirk, and want to make sure you're okay. Never heard from her. Called her, not kidding you, about 3 months ago. I said, hey, where's El Paso? She still had the phone number. Her voicemail answers. I said, hey, it's Kirk. And what was weird about it, at first somebody clicked and answered the phone. And they didn't say anything. I said, hi, it's Kirk. Hey, I said, I hope you all right and want to talk to you. And click. And I called back and left a voicemail. So I thought, I told her, I said, hey, it's Kirk. I want to make sure you're okay. And I wanted to just see how things are doing. And said, things sure like to talk to you. And then a week later, I called again, left another voicemail. Just said, please just give me a call. Here's my number. And said, never responded. Gone. Off the face of the earth. I'm heading some with this still, folks. I can't tell you how many times that I started working with somebody, and this may be in God's planning to keep us, told separated and alone, in a sense, so that the Lord and everybody can work on us to become who we are, better what we do, and keep us on the right path and no distractions. And it wasn't the timing, apparently, for us to unite and work together on this, or it's possible that the evil ones just squashed it or took her down or something. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I can count way beyond my fingers how often this has happened to me. When I get face to face close to somebody, boom, something happens. Boom, boom, something like her. Injured, some blows. It happened to even Bishop just recently. Started working with the guy. He said, come out and see me in Nevada. Has a bunch of ranch land, has horses, has four-wheelers. Said, and I was going out and talk to him and get a good friendship with the guy and maybe do some jobs with him. And explain that later. But yeah, he ends up in a damn nightmare. Not because of me, but because some of the people help him on his ranch land, even his mother and some other people, they go off on a cruise and he has a dang pipe that explodes. And I, didn't hear from a week, called him back a week after that. And he just said, oh my God, I'm out of my mind trying to survive here by myself. And so I haven't heard back from him too. Last week he said, I'm going to call you on Thursday. I talked to him on Monday last week. No. And it's been over a week and a half now. But he said, I'm going to call you back on a Thursday about over a week ago. Never called back on Thursday. Supposed to work with the guy in San Diego on some other things. And he loses his damn mind and doesn't call me back anymore. It's amazing what happens to these people. Now, I didn't know this individual, Derek. I knew him, and I said communicate with him, and I talked briefly with him a couple of times through comments, and I think even emails, a couple of emails, because I was in the software field, and so was he. I'm going to tell you more about this man, too, in a second. So what is going on? We have the sister who used to run Reality Sliders in Britain. She kind of just disappeared. And I've seen people that had Mandela effects that originally started with those 3 years ago disappear, gone. Just face there, gone. And they used to be so dedicated. So either they gave up or something happened. Or both. And I mean, it's so amazing, shocking how, they dedicate their lives to something and said, here, and I'm here to, then all of a sudden, boom, they just disappear, or something happens to them, right? Some kind of ailment, illness, or family thing, or such, and so weird. It's like we're getting taken out one by one. It's so weird that I swear to God, it's like a game of, if we can just, there might be just a handful of us left at the end who come to help the reset this world for the Father, Lord, the angels, and God. I asked God about that one time. You know what he told me? He said, I don't need a ton. So I told you that in Scripture. I can do with a handful if I need to. So brothers and sisters, my friends, I hope you're one of those that can help us. God only needs a few of us. Even Matt today in QuanCon said, he goes, I don't know if the number is 144,000, but I think it's lower than that. Maybe, I don't know. Only God knows the number. It could be more or less. But if I had to take account, I'd say dedicated to fighting this all the way to the end, I'd probably say maybe. Ones I personally know, probably 20. I mean, personally, just by watching their channels and monitor their situation and what they're doing, that's about 20. But we don't know everybody, right? There's ones we don't know about. So I'd put the count around the world. We're all rare. You gotta watch Matt's his video today, because I had the same conversation with Raleigh. I said our numbers are low, so I'd say 20,000 max. But if I had to put a real number on it, I'd say, geez, 2,000, even lower than that. 2,000 left. And that's a scary thought. We got 7 billion people here. About 2,000, if not less. I know 20 that I monitor and say that they're tough enough and care enough and willing to die for the situation. And also to be free, know the truth, and get out of here. They're willing to sacrifice everything just to be free and maybe help some others be free in the situation. 20. That's a scary thought. 20. Because I see a lot of bullcrap channels, a lot of Mandela Effect channels, a lot of crap that's just shocking that, they're not there. I'm not saying I'm not either. I'm just saying that at least I hope in my heart and soul I'm there. Until I decide, please bounce me, correct me, do what you can to make sure I'm on the right path. Some assume I am, right? But we never know. So, anyway, tired, so I'm going to finish this about Derek. I bet you anybody doesn't know who he is. Everybody's known him. He started a movement. I'm going to give you a hint. You got to realize this man knew inside corporate America. He worked for Microsoft as a VP level, basically. He knew a lot. This man was in deep, not deep state, in deep into corporate America. He knew all the filth of Microsoft. We're talking major filth. And he was exposing some of that filth. He'd actually worked for Paramount even. He worked in the movie industry. But his big thing was... So, you know who he is? He's the guy that started Anonymous. Did you not? Derek was the one who started Anonymous. And I see Anonymous still out there. And he even told us then, he goes, come on, friend. He even said out there, he goes, some people are mimicking, Anonymous. And he'd actually backed away. He did it for several years. But he was the guy that he said, he had the technology, he had the skill background, did graphics even. I told you he worked in Paramount and also worked in Microsoft and doing software development and other things like this. He was very skilled, and that's why he did Anonymous. He started it. him and a couple of buddies. He quit Microsoft, and he was like VP level, and said, I'm gonna do anonymous. I'm gonna start exposing some of this crap. So he had some people working in the background with him. He was the guy who started anonymous. Not kidding you. And I laughed at him one time because I said, man, you're in Microsoft. I said, I know some stuff too because I work for large corporations in the United States as well. I said I worked for Lockheed Martin. I worked for Sybase. I worked for SAP. Huge companies, bud. Kaiser Permanente. I said, man, I've worked some large Seagate, Dot Hill. I said, I've worked government in and out. I said, bud, I have got so many secrets. And I said, I didn't know. I said, man, that is hilarious. 2 software guys, and he laughed about it to me in the communication once. And I think it may have been live on one of his video corners that we're talking back and forth. And I said, bud, I've been in the trenches. And I said, you have too, huh? I said, you know how filthy some of this crap goes in corporate America. Well, anyway, so something happened. All right, let's go. Food for thought, a thought for food. Probably thought for food. Because once you take that thought that's what makes you who you are. You keep searching for more food to feed that brain. God bless and love y'all.